Hey guys, Bob here from Raw Strength and Muscle, and today we are going to totally drag the If It Fits Your Macros, Weight Watchers, calorie counting diets through the dirt and expose them for the rubbish that they really are, okay? The idea for this video came from a woman that I saw in a cafe a few months ago, okay? I'm sitting in a cafe. It's one of those places where they could also sell beer and wine. So I'm sitting there banging away on my keyboard, drinking green tea or, iced coffee or something. And I see this guy walk in, okay? And he looks like, a typical Florida doctor or something. He's got the shirt open a little bit and he's, got a little moosed up hair and stuff. He's really tan, a little bit overweight, dressed really well, but, he's kind of dumpy. And then I see a woman walk in a little bit later. I guess he met his wife for lunch or something like this. Really good looking, attractive trophy wife, okay? And, they were right in front of me. I was back against the wall because that's how I sit in cafes, banging away on my computer, and they're at the bar. So they're literally right ahead of me. So if I look over my screen, that's what I see. And what I noticed, he drinks a beer, okay? And she drinks a glass of beer or a glass of wine. He was drinking a glass of beer. I don't know what she was drinking, okay? And I was just thinking to myself, at first I thought she was pretty attractive, but then when I got a better look at her, I noticed that she's actually kind of sickly and unhealthy, okay? Like I said, she was wearing the greatest new fashion and she had makeup done and she looked great. But at the same time, when I looked at her a little bit closer, I noticed that she was kind of pale, kind of flabby. And she was quite a bit older than, I would have thought. I'm 47, so when I say someone's older than I thought and considerably older than me, she's getting up there in years. No problem. But the point is, she had a very low amount of muscle mass. Okay, she didn't look hardy. She didn't look athletic. She didn't look stable. Okay. Now, I know people are going to say that I'm fat shaming or skinny shaming or whatever the fuck bullshit crap that some fucking Democrat's going to come up with now to talk shit about people who are actually trying to help other people. But the fact of the matter is, it's nothing against her. It's just, I was thinking right now, she looks actually kind of feeble and she's not all that old. Everybody, man or woman, is going to lose muscle mass at some point as they get older. So the idea is to have the most muscle mass that you can and try to maintain it as long as you can, because you are at some point going to degrade, okay? So if she is already in advanced years and she's already has a low amount of muscle mass, what's going to happen in a little bit when she actually loses a little bit of muscle mass she has? Now, why are we talking shit about If It Fits Your Macros, calorie counting, that kind of a diet? Because that's what got her this way. If you were to look at her silhouette, you would have thought that she was actually quite attractive, quite healthy, quite a good looking woman. And she was. But all that these diets do is get your weight down, okay? They get your weight into a healthy range, a good-looking range, an overweight range. That's all that calorie counting does. It doesn't mean that if you're 300 pounds, you're 300 pounds of pure muscle at negative 0% body fat, and if you're, let's say 170 pounds as a man, it doesn't mean that you're rock hard Olympic athlete, muscle, okay? What it means is if you eat more, you will eventually weigh 300 pounds. If you eat less, you will eventually weigh 180 pounds. That's all that it means. And like I said, this girl was good at, unlike her husband, who, like I said, he actually had more muscle mass, but he was fat, he had a little gut. So he was unhealthy because he had muscle and too much fat. She was unhealthy because she had, she actually had too much fat, but too little muscle, but her weight was good. So that is the problem, okay? She obviously had a really good handle on her caloric intake, okay? And she was able to have her weight on the scale down to a science. She knew exactly how much to eat, how much to drink. She was the sort of person, so she had a glass of beer or a glass of wine, let's say 100 some odd, 200 some odd calories, okay? Well, what she probably did is not eat lunch, okay? So calorically speaking, she's in, the golden zone. She's staying at her caloric maintenance. She's not gaining weight. But do you really think that it's healthy to have a glass of wine or a glass of beer instead of some sort of animal protein and some greens for lunch. Okay? The macronutrients alone, yes, the calories might be the same, but the protein, the fats, the carbs, if you eat them, do you think they are going to be the same? Do you think they're going to be favorable? Okay? If you drink a beer or a glass of wine and skip lunch. Okay? Not to mention, like I said, the micronutrients. I mean, the micronutrients in like a whole egg, especially the yolk, or a piece of, salmon or a piece of beef. What are the micronutrients, the difference going to be between that and having a beer, even if you're eating the same number of calories? Okay. Now, the problem is this also doesn't support the muscle in your body, which means you are going to be weak and feeble. So, let's go back to something that I've spoken about in other videos. My girl, okay, used to work, she's a psychologist, but she used to work in an admin position for a nonprofit, okay? She ran like a whole bunch of programs for the company. She was like right under the CEO. So when they opened up like a affordable housing for older people apartment building that they had rehabilitated, she was invited and I was invited to go ahead and go there for the grand reopening. And some of the people that lived there before they renovated it were living in there again. Very happy people, smiles on their face. They love their lives. They were very courteous, very kind, very nice older people. Every single one of them was skinny. Even the ones, a couple of them had like a little bit of a gut, but they were all skinny. If, my girlfriend, the psychologist, now she's back doing, actual mental health therapy. She says like all the time, she's like, if I could just whack this guy over the head with a magic wand and like make him not care about what other people think, I could cure him immediately. Just smack him in the forehead. Like from now on, you don't care about what people think. And I could cure this guy immediately. It's the same thing here. Me as like a health professional, and a trainer or a diet coach is actually a health professional. That's what we're doing. Okay, take yourself seriously. But as a health professional, if I were to like quote cure the lifestyle illnesses these people had, I would just give them more muscle. They like couldn't really walk very well. They didn't have very good balance. They were kind of feeble because they had no muscle. Why is that? Because they didn't eat properly. They didn't work out their whole lives. Now, once again, I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just telling you that this makes no sense. So when you're like, well, my uncle weighed 300 pounds and he started counting his calories and he got his fucking weight down to 200 pounds and now he's healthy and got rid of his diabetes. Yes, that's called losing weight, okay? If you have so much weight that your body can't handle it and you have diabetes, purely, not genetically, purely because you weigh so goddamn much, your fucking pancreas can't keep up with the amount of insulin you need. Yes, losing weight will make you healthier, okay? If all of your joints hurt because you weigh 300 pounds and you're supposed to weigh 150, and if you lose 150 pounds, yes, just losing weight will make you healthier. But at the end of the day, I hope if you're watching this channel, you don't just want to be healthier. You want to be healthier and you want to have a higher quality of life. Okay, who cares if you cut from 300 to 150 pounds and now you've extended your lifespan by 20 years? If you're walking around and you can barely take a normal step, you're taking these little baby steps just to get to your walker, and that's how you spend the last 20 years of your life because you have no fucking muscle, okay? The same thing with guys who bust their asses, lose 100, 150, 200 pounds, think they're going to be ripped, think they're going to be jacked, but since they don't have any muscle and didn't build any muscle, they look like rubbish at the end of it. It truly breaks my fucking heart to see somebody put so much work in for so long and not build muscle in the process and just look like a scrawny, sickly, anorexic, alcoholic version of a fat, obese, overweight person that I used to be. I used to be fat as fuck and look terrible and feel terrible and not be able to move. Now I'm scrawny as fuck and I fucking feel terrible and look terrible and can barely move. So anyway, like I said, if all you are talking about is whether you're gaining or losing weight on the scale, yes, it's true. Calories are king. That's always going to be how this is going to work. But at the end of the day, if gaining weight for you means building muscle while maintaining leanness, or losing weight means building muscle while increasing your leanness and decreasing your body fat, if living longer doesn't just mean being alive until you're clinically dead longer, but actually having a greater quality of life as you live, your longer lifespan, then you need to think about more than just calories, okay? Macronutrients, micronutrients, and you have to train your body to actually use those macro and micronutrients. That's just the way things are. Like I said, I have nothing against people who are overweight. I have nothing against people who are underweight. What I have a problem with is when people tell you, just count your calories and everything's gonna be great. You fucking believe them and you look and feel just as shitty when you're skinny as you did when you were obese. And that is fucking wrong, okay? Don't buy the bullshit. There ain't no fucking free meals. If you want to go from being fat and out of shape to being lean and in shape, you've got to do your strength training, you've got to do your cardio, and you've got to have your micro and macronutrients in check. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Comment down below. Ask me any questions. I'll use them for future videos. Like the video. I'm really going to be a lot more consistent with putting out these videos ever since I finally got rid of the brain fog and all the fucking inflammation problems I had from when I was not on keto. So help me out, give me some more ideas for future videos. Aside from that, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.